This morning, I saw the following tweet from Michael Jones of Inspiring Philosophy. If your faith only comes from feelings and emotions, you won't have it when your feelings and emotions change. To which I offered the following as a reply. Also, if your faith only comes from arguments and evidence, you won't have it when the arguments and evidence change. The point I'm making here is that arguments and evidence are not necessarily a more secure, stable foundation for the Christian life than feelings and emotions. In each case, there is something more that will be required to sustain the Christian life over time or through time. What is that deeper thing? Well, it is relationship itself. Think about a marriage to a spouse. You could think on the one hand, if the only reason you're marrying your spouse is because you have certain feelings and emotions toward that individual, well, then clearly, when those emotions and feelings change, as it inevitably will through the course of marriage, the initial infatuation of puppy love changes when you're trying to figure out how to pay the mortgage. Well, then that won't be sufficient to sustain the marriage. But likewise, if the only foundation for your marriage is that it was a rational evidential calculation because you had good arguments at the time that made sense to marry this person, that too will not sustain you later on when you've got reason to question or doubt some of the arguments that you held at an earlier time. The one thing that is going to sustain your marriage through time is an ongoing relationship with the person. And it is out of the relationship that both feelings and emotions and arguments and evidence are sustained and provide or have a context or a foundation. It's the same thing with the Christian life. Um, Arguments and evidence are important and valuable, so are emotions and feelings. But the thing that will sustain you in the Christian life is ultimately neither one of those, but rather an ongoing, sustained relationship with God through Jesus Christ. And I love, and I never tire of looking for an excuse to invoke Eugene Peterson's wonderful phrase, a long obedience in the same direction. What will sustain the Christian life ultimately for you is a long obedience in the same direction, whether you have the arguments and evidence or the feelings and emotions in a particular day, because those will indeed wax and wane as so many things do in the Christian life.